He said. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for a short prayer and salute to our flag? Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all of our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our service men and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jessica, statement of publication.
Take notice that this regular agenda meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on this 27th day of May, 2025 has been posted and advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Balka.
Here.
Polisi.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Sinarski.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Here. Council President, approval of prior meeting minutes.
I move the following minutes of the mayor and council be approved on roll call vote, subject to correction if necessary. The May 12th, 2025 regular and agenda session.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balka.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Sinarski. Zabrowski.
Okay, all business.
Just want to announce that the 2025 budget approval and public hearing notice had been advertised in the Home News Tribune on May 2nd, 2025, which gave notice of the date and time of this public hearing and put before the council tonight the 2025 municipal budget resolution 2025-113. Open it to the.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open the public portion on the 2025 budget. There is a 5-minute time limit. It's inclusive, questions and answers. Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Jim Robinson, Parlin. The last meeting on the 28th, I suggested that the budget be on the front page of the website so residents could easily find it, not have to jump through hoops to find it. I guess that was too much to ask. I couldn't find the amended budget, so I hope some of the things I'm going to ask about tonight have been addressed. The resolution says the budget was approved on April 28th. I know it was introduced on April 28th, but I don't know that it was approved. The resolution says it's being amended tonight. Is that an error? And you can answer that later on, not at my time. The statute says there should be a presentation of the budget before the vote. Will there be a presentation where the budget will be explained? A couple weeks ago, I asked some questions. Actually, 2 weeks and a day ago, I asked questions on the 28th, and I was told that those answers would be forthcoming within the week. I waited. No answers to my questions on the budget, Mayor. I haven't blocked anybody on my email, so if there were answers, I would have gotten them. I'd like to know how much will the average Sayreville homeowner's taxes increase as a result of this budget? There is probably money, this is a question. There is probably money in the budget for the firehouse, which I hear will become borough offices, not an event center or a place for exhibits or lectures or a little bit of culture, God forbid. Now, the Historical Society had requested a historical designation so they can apply for grants to fix up that building. With the exception of Mary and Dan, you refuse to do that. So this is the question. So is there money in the budget to restore the firehouse, money that could have been paid for by grants? And if so, how much? Pilots, pilots, pilots. I came to that hearing a year ago and you told us how great the mega warehouse pilots were and how they'd lower the tax burden on ordinary folks. It'd be a real shot in the arm for the town's economy. So no thank you for the pilots. We see from this budget that didn't occur. The mayor and council line item is still up $50,000. Is it still up $50,000 as it was on the 28th? And is that for 3, 4, 5 more chiefs of staff for the mayor? And that is a question. How many new employees are anticipated in the budget? That wasn't filled out on the form that I saw. That's a question. I'm not going to get into the two borough engineers. We know that was a political payoff for a Republican county chair. God knows what that will cost us. I see that you're going to use $9.4 million in surplus this year. That is $2 million more than last year. Last year, I think it was about 7.2 million. So instead of cutting, you're just taking more surplus, and that surplus, so that everybody knows, was built up over years and years and years and years. That's where that surplus comes from. Trash collection for the new apartments, is it still up to $700,000? And that's, I assume that's increases because of all the new apartments in town that you approved under the COA agreement, Mayor. The school crossing guards, are they still down $90,000? With all the new traffic funds for the people who help ensure our kids' safety, I'm not so sure that should be cut. That's a question. The birthday lunches the mayor hosts for seniors at the Active Adult Center, do they come out of that budget? That's a question. And I noticed that you cut the Office on Aging budget by $50,000 in the budget that we saw 2 weeks ago. Is that still the case? That's a question. I also noted when I went through the BIC, for the longest time, BIC, the contributions to BIC have been $20,000. That group does an amazing job for residents of Sayreville who need a little extra help. Brain-injured children, still $20,000 after all these years. If there was ever a group that deserved more money, it's this one. Can't the BIC donation be increased? And my final question, Mayor, is this. I know how pilots helped and tax abatements helped mega warehouses, friends, and contributors. How does this budget help the ordinary tax-paying residents of Sayreville? And that's a question. How does this budget help seniors on fixed incomes, those 70-year-olds who aren't still working, pulling in $150,000 a year from the state? And I mentioned that the Office on Aging was cut by $50,000, at least by the budget I saw on the 28th. And how does this budget help young families just starting out, people who really need some help and can't afford a tax increase? So I hope you'll answer those questions, and maybe even the questions that I asked 2 weeks ago that I was told the answer to would be forthcoming. Thank you. Should I sit here or should I stand here for the answers?
No,
I should
someone
sit
will
down?
get back to
You'll
you.
answer them when I sit down?
Someone will get back to you.
Well,
Any-
Mayor, nobody gets back. That's a lie. You said that last meeting and nobody got
Someone,
back to me.
Jim, please take your seat.
Will you answer
Please.
questions on the budget?
You can do it during your 5 minutes. Thank you, Jim.
So this
Please-
governing body refuses
please.
to answer questions on the budget.
Officer,
Shame on all
this
of you.
guy is dying to be taken back to his seat by a policeman.
Don't speak for me, Mayor.
I will. Are there any other questions on the budget?
Why ask questions? You don't get
Young
answers.
lady, if you continue, Jim, I'll have you removed for disrupting the meeting.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Stricka. I live at 25 Sherwood Road in Parlin. I just want to know, I didn't see how much it would, with the current budget, how much it would be going up per household. If you could just,
Wait, Danielle?
It's going to go up about $30 on average for the average assessed home, which is
$30 for each
146,000.
100, is that what it is? Something like that?
No, $30.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Who else had their hand up? Questions? Come on up. Correct.
Okay,
And you are?
anonymous,
Who are you?
anonymous.
You're anonymous.
Yes, anonymous
Okay.
communications are permissible.
All right.
Thank you. So I'm against the entirety of the budget, and the reason why I'm against the entirety of the budget is because of the corruption going on here in Sayreville. I'm against the budget when I read things in the newspaper, such as you calling members of the public dopey assholes with no lives. I'm against the budget because currently we have a trial with the Sayreville murder trial of the former councilwoman. And quite frankly, could have been the government, could have been the possible government that took her out. I'm against this budget because we don't believe that the Middlesex County prosecutors is always going after innocent people. So I believe in order to take the blame away from who really did this, they're going after an innocent black man. So yeah, I'm against the entirety of this budget. It's simply it's not evidence to be in the same geographical location. There's no evidence at all. There's no motive. There's no.
Is this, are you going to ask questions about the budget or about
Absolutely.
the
Well,
murder
I'm
of the former
explaining, I'm making my,
councilwoman?
I don't have to ask questions. I can make statements and make statements.
Yes, you
and
can.
Make statements why I'm against
Yes,
the
but they
budget.
need to pertain to the budget.
Well, the board attorney shook his head that I am allowed to make statements why I'm against the
Pertaining
budget.
to the budget.
Pertaining
This
to
is
the
for the
budget. I
budget
want-
only.
Well, I don't want the police department to get $1 while they could possibly be suspects.
That's fine. You can
involved
say
in the
that.
murder of
Good.
the former councilwoman.
Right.
So, yeah. How much time do I have left?
I beg your pardon?
How much time do I have left?
You have
1 minute?
just about 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay. Well. So yeah, it's a shame what's going on here in Sayreville. It's a shame what's going on here in Middlesex County. Middlesex County prosecutors,
On with the budget.
they take people to trial for constitutionally protected activities. They find people innocent people guilty all the time. And when it comes to politically charged, politically motivated cases, such as when Governor Murphy said one day after, oh, this isn't politically motivated, how would he know that? Unless the Democratic committee, the Republican swamp, they're trying to cover up what they did. They know what happened. You guys know what happened. And quite frankly, there's nothing I seen at the trial that points to the guilt of the young man. No murder weapon was found, no witness. Even the Middlesex County
Is
prosecutor.
this about the
Yeah, I'm
budget or
against-
about the murder case?
I'm-
You need to stick to the
That's why I'm
budget.
against that, because the Middlesex County prosecutors.
This is the
fixing-
municipal budget portion,
they're
so you need to
I'm
keep
against the
your
municipal,
questions
I'm against the
about
municipal
the
budget.
municipal
I'm
budget.
against $1 going to the police
Okay,
department.
you've made that statement. Do you have a second statement?
Yeah, I'm making a statement why.
I beg your pardon?
I'm making a statement why.
What the hell did he say?
He's making a statement. Why? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean. You were talking about the
I'm
county
making- I'm
prosecutor that
making-
has nothing to do with the municipal
I'm
budget.
making a statement why I'm against $1 going to the police
All
department.
right, you've made that statement. Do you have a second statement you want to make about
When I
anything
go to-
else?
When I go to say why.
Do you
you're
live in
cutting me off.
Sayreville?
Why are you cutting
Do
me
you
off?
pay taxes in
When
Sayreville?
I'm going to say why are you cutting me off?
I'm asking you questions. Do you
I'm-
live in
I'm
Sayreville?
in
Do
the
you
middle.
pay taxes in Sayreville?
That's none of your damn business, Mayor. That's none of your damn business.
I don't think you do, but the law is the law. I have to allow
Your
this.
perception is
You have a
is
minute.
not my
You
responsibility.
have 1 minute.
Thank you. So I'm against everything that's going on in Sayreville, the way you behave, your corrupt council, your corrupt police department. I don't want $1 going to them. I don't want $1 going to them because quite frankly, I think the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office is going after an innocent man to cover up what happened to the councilwoman. And quite frankly, how is it you start a murder trial by making a statement that, oh, we have all these eyewitnesses, but not one of these
No,
witnesses.
This has nothing to do with the budget.
I'll
I'm
be back
sorry.
up. I'll be back up for public comments. Don't worry about it. I'll be
That's
back
fine.
up.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Yes. Are you going to state your name?
No,
All right.
anonymous.
Well, there we
Against the
go.
budget because.
Can I
of-
ask you if you live in
No, I'm
Sayreville
talking,
or
I'm
pay
talking,
taxes?
I'm
No, no,
talking.
I
You're
run
out
the,
of order.
no,
You're
I
out of
run the
order,
meeting.
Mayor. You're out of order.
Yeah,
Cut it
escort
out.
them out.
You're out of
him out.
order. This is me
him
speaking
out.
during my public time. You don't have
No.
the right.
Yes,
to
I
remove
do.
a speaker. No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
If you,
I have
if you,
5
if
minutes.
you're,
I want to explain why I'm against the budget. Give me the same opportunity
make
that
your
you would give
opportunities,
anyone else.
make your
I'm asking for-
comments
I'm
on the
asking for you to
budget.
Stop talking so I can.
Go right ahead.
This is simple, basic stuff. Please don't interrupt me
No,
again.
I expect you to
Mr.
form.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
please.
Your comments on our budget or your questions on
I've
our
been trying to
budget or
get there and
both?
you've been eating my clock up.
No, because I'm starting the
You
clock
continue
now.
to do it.
I'm starting the clock now. So
Thank you.
go
I
ahead.
appreciate that. It's that 4:10, but
Yes.
thank you. I'm against the budget for like what just transpired right there. I'm against everything the way you go about everything. Here I come up and all you want to do is make a separation from out-of-towners and people who live in Sayreville who pay taxes because you want to make sure that that's a clear distinction. Out-of-towners serve, all of these residents get to determine how much public interest is in the statements that I give, regardless of my geographical difference, regardless of me surrendering my Fourth Amendment right to come here and express my First Amendment. It's not a disrespect thing. Well, actually it is, because you're disrespecting me as I exercise my rights to remain anonymous, which is my Fourth Amendment right, and it's covered under the First Amendment and the Open Public Meeting Act, Mayor.
You following this guy?
The Lord knows exactly
Are you
what I'm saying.
gonna make
And when you tried
comments
to
on
have
the
me removed
budget?
just now, you should have seen his face. You didn't get to
Please
see
don't
it
put
from this
words into my
perspective.
mouth.
I'm
Please don't
trying
put
to,
words into my mouth or I will interrupt you.
I didn't say you said anything.
No, you.
I
yes, you
saw your
did by
face. I said I
saying
had
my
the perspective
face.
of viewing your face in that moment.
Listen, they're just trying to set us up for a lawsuit.
This is not about a gotcha moment. All you have to do is
Oh, it
nothing.
is. You live for
All you
that.
have to do is nothing.
Move
You
on with the
continue to
budget.
interrupt me. I
Move
can't
on
get to
with the
my
budget.
statements.
Move
and
on
now
with
we're
the
at
questions
2
about
minutes
the
and 45
budget.
seconds.
Go ahead.
Please stop interrupting me, Mr. Mayor. Jeez. I'm against the budget because you won't bring back Zoom meeting for disabled people. I'm against the budget because you paraded a whole bunch of veterans here with a dog and pony show so you could pin them against residents over the pride flag. I'm against everything you stand for, so therefore I'm against the budget. I miss the old mayor who actually gave attention to the meetings. That's why I'm against the budget. I'm against the budget because Councilwoman Novak mutters under her breath constantly. While he's speaking, just muttering, showing complete disrespect. If you guys are supposed to maintain decorum, right? Lead by example. Lead by example. When people come up here, all you want to hear is things you agree with. You can't handle when people say things that are critical to what you're thinking. I mean, this is basic stuff. That's why I'm against the budget, because basic government here in Sayreville is garbage. I miss the old mayor because she actually cared about the meetings. She cared about the public's input. That's why I'm against the budget. I'm against the budget because you cut me off multiple times. I'll have to watch the video back. All that was like a blur. You just couldn't stop talking, couldn't stop talking. There was even a moment where you tried to have a police officer get in the middle of your political theater because you want to just show everybody that you command and demand authority. You work for the people, Mr. Mayor. It's not the other way around. And if you don't like what I'm saying, or you don't like what I'm saying, or any of you, you don't have to say anything. All you have to do is nothing. I appreciate Councilman Balka for never interrupting me. I appreciate the other people that don't. What are you smiling about? I appreciate when people show respect to members of the public. I don't see that here in Sayreville. I see a mayor who wants to make a distinction between out-of-towners and people who pay taxes to live in Sayreville. You don't get to decide the narrative of what these people deem of public interest. You understand that, right? If you're confronted with what the actual law is, because last time you shut a meeting down. You shut a meeting down out of fear of people not telling them their name and their address. Why? So you could come over and retaliate? All you have to do is nothing. Practice that.
All right. Are there any other questions? Being no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion.
Make a motion to close the public.
Is there a second? Roll call.
Councilpersons Roberts, Falca,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
Yes.
Novak, Sinarski, Zabrowski, Now I'm going to read the in full 2025 budget amendment, Resolution 2025-112.
If I may, Mayor, it actually, Mr. Robinson is correct. This is not a budget amendment resolution. We're not amending as far as I'm aware, we're not amending the budget that, since it was introduced. This is the same version of the budget that was introduced?
No.
Oh, it has been amended. Okay. So then it is correct. It is a budget amendment.
Resolution 2025-112, 2025 budget amendment. Whereas the local municipal budget for the year 2025 was introduced on the 28th day of April 2025, and whereas the public hearing on said budget has been held as advertised, and whereas it is desired to amend said approved budget, now therefore it be resolved by the mayor and borough council of the borough of Saraville, county of Middlesex, New Jersey, that the attached amendments to the approved budget for the calendar year of 2025 be made. Revenue and appropriation summaries. Summary of revenues, surplus, $9,400,000. Total miscellaneous revenues, $29,513,178.78. Receipts from delinquent taxes, $1,100,000. Local tax for municipal purposes, $37,697,532.67. Minimum library tax, $2,339,181.50. Total amount to be raised by taxes, $40,036,714.17. Total general revenues, $80,049,892.95. Summary of appropriations, operating expenses, salaries and wages, $27,712,794. Other expenses, $33,494,769.06. Deferred charges and other appropriations, $7,148,520.89. Capital improvements, $920,000. Debt service, $8,265,915. Reserve for uncollected taxes, $2,507,894. Total general appropriations, $80,049,892.95. 2025 dedicated water utility budget, summary of revenues, surplus, $4,084,000, $56. Miscellaneous revenues, $10,975,000. Total revenues, $15,059,056. Summary of appropriations, operating expenses, salaries and wages, $3,098,456. Other expenses, $8,543,400. Capital improvements, $265,000. Debt service, $2,552,200. Deferred charges and other appropriations, $600,000. Total appropriations, $15,059,056. Guys are going crazy. Balance of outstanding debt, general. Interest, $9,161,721.67. Principal, $54,121,000. Outstanding balance, $63,282,721.67. Water, interest, $3,660,381.37. Principal, $17,512,277.92. Outstanding balance, $21,172,659.29. You have to open it to the public.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments. Are there any questions or comments? Jim?
Are there questions or comments on the budget, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
The amended budget. That's why, that's the confusion, and I apologize, I made it before. The public hearing originally was on the introduced budget. This resolution just amended the budget before introduction, so now we're having a public hearing on the amended budget.
Thank you. So my observation was correct.
No, actually, the resolution is supposed to say amended budget because we are
Yes.
amending the budget.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my point. Okay. So what are the amendments to the budget?
Danielle?
We were able to decrease some of the appropriations, 165,000. We increased some of the revenues and we brought it down to 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. Now, how about the answer to my other questions? When will I get answer on the questions? Money for the firehouse, is it in that budget instead of grants? How much?
When
How
can
many
you get
new
them the
employees
answers?
are anticipated in this budget? The $50,000 that was in the
Week, 2
budget
weeks?
for mayoral aides,
How-
is that
how
in
long
the
did I get?
amended budget?
How long did I get for this?
Still.
They'll
I'm
respond.
asking about the amended budget.
Huh?
How many new employees are in the
No.
amended budget?
These questions. Clerk's office.
The birthday lunches that the mayor sponsors for the seniors, does that come out of what account does that come out of? Is that in the amended budget? In the amended budget, is it still $50,000 taken out of a decrease in the senior citizens budget? And how does this budget help how does this amended budget help the ordinary taxpayers, the senior citizens, the folks on fixed incomes, young families just starting out? Does this amended budget increase the BIC, the cerebral brain injured children donation? Does it change it? What about school crossing guards in the amended budget? Is that still down by $90,000 versus the 2024 budget? Those are my questions.
Any other questions?
Yes, and my final question is, when will I get an answer to those questions?
Danielle, how long will it take your staff to send them, to respond?
Sorry.
Can you use the microphone, please?
I have to look up some of the questions,
Okay.
particularly the number of new employees. The crossing guards, yes, are down because we had 3 retirements last year. I did budget for vacancies, but they will be at a lower rate than the people who retired. The Office on Aging budget, they have a new contract for their transportation, which brought the budget down.
Okay. All right. And would you like me to email you the other questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate your.
Are there any other questions on the amended budget? Being no other questions, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to close the public.
Oh, you have to close the public, I'm sorry. Close,
I made the motion.
okay. Is there a second? Second. Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Polisi,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Sinarski,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Now I need a motion to adopt the budget amendment.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the budget amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Zabrowski, Balca.
No.
Polisi,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes, no, with an explanation. I was very unhappy that, I know that, Mr. Balco, who does this for a living, had several recommendations. He thought he could bring this in at 0 without any problems with next year's budget. And they, chose not to use all of his. And also, we're deleting a shared service agreement, which is going to cost us money. And, we authorized that pilot. It just seems like we're not being fiscally responsible. So my vote's no.
Roberts,
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
I need a motion to adopt the municipal budget and resolution
Is there
2025.
a motion?
I'll make that motion, but before I do, just a couple of comments. First and foremost, I want to thank actually the other members of the committee, which was Mr. Balca and Mrs. Novak. This really was a collaborative process, despite the votes otherwise. We worked very hard to get to a very lean budget. In the end, sometimes you dispute whether you need to get to a different level or not. But I do go back to when you're talking about your home finances and you want to make sure that you're lean, but you're also protecting yourself for future as well. And I believe that this budget does exactly that. It's lean, but it also makes sure that we're not taxing our community for the future as well. I also think that what you have to do is listen to your professionals, and we have very good professionals. So I want to commend our department heads for putting in all that time to be able to create their budgets in the best way they can and make them as frugal and lean as they can as well. And Danielle, thank you very much for the process. It was very clean and very efficient, and you did good work. And for that reason, I make a motion to adopt the 2025 municipal budget and resolution.
And second. Roll call?
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes.
Balca.
No.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak.
No.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sinarski.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to pull under new business. There's no appointments. I am going to pull the ordinance on the Shade Tree Committee for the moment. Is there any objection to me doing that? Being no objection, we'll then go to resolutions where I will open the public portion for questions or comments on the resolutions. Are there any questions or comments on the resolutions? There being no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that I move the public hearing be closed and the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
Is there- Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Okay, on resolution 2025-114, I'm going to abstain on the Adelex bill and the KC Science bill. Yes, on all their items.
Okay. Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak. Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay.
I need a motion to accept the correspondence that's listed.
Donna?
A motion to accept the correspondence.
I make a motion to accept the correspondence as listed.
Is there a second? Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Novak.
Sorry, yes.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
You want to read the retirement resignation?
No, that's.
Or is that included? Okay. Report to the mayor and council, administration and finance, Councilman Balka.
Thank you, Mayor. Progress.
Okay, planning and zoning, Councilman Zabrowski.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. First, and I'm sure everybody will do this, we had a Memorial Day parade yesterday, and I want to thank all our borough workers for all their assistance, all the volunteers, and as well as our community for coming out. I thought it was a wonderful event. And also I appreciate both Keith Candell and Carmen Delicott were the members,
Marshals.
Grand Marshals. Thank you, Mary, for the parade. Also want to thank Jen and her group for a really wonderful senior day. I apologize that I couldn't be in town for that, but that was at the Active Adult Center last Wednesday. It was about 240 attendees, which is a great number. And again, I appreciate her staff as well as all the volunteers from the clubs who did setup, serving, and then breakdown. It was a great event. Shout out to Fred Block as well. The Patriots flags of Saraville, as you see, there were a number throughout town. I think it's really nice that he spearheads a program such as that spreads a message of unity and national pride. And then finally, on the planning board on May 21st, the planning board received two reports from the Sarah planner for areas of need of redevelopment, and the planning board accepted both of those reports. Mayor, that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Public Safety, Councilman Khaleesi.
Okay, for tonight's report, I'd like to share first Police Chief Plumacher's wishes for me to share the following. Last Wednesday on May 21st, around 4:51 a.m., a fatal crash occurred on Route 9 North. So a truck driver working on his disabled vehicle was struck and killed by a passing car. So the driver of that car was hospitalized. The investigation is now ongoing. So if anybody has information or dash cam footage, please contact Officer Kales at 732-525-5418 or Detective McGarry at 732-745-3140. Next, officer is honored for child safety operation. So the chief is proud to share that Sergeant Chris Engelbrecht and Detective Gabe Lugo and Detective Matt Zabrowski will be honored with Meritorious Service Awards at the 2025 Valor Awards hosted by the 200 Club of Middlesex County. Their work on Operation Cruel Summer helped arrest individuals attempting to lure minors online. So thanks to all agencies involved for keeping our kids safe. Lastly, before this year's Memorial Day Parade, I had the honor of attending the Firemen's Memorial Ceremony, an important moment to remember and pay tribute to the brave members of our fire service who made the ultimate sacrifice. I also want to give a big thank you to our Saraville Police Department, Office of Emergency Management, and our dedicated auxiliary officers for doing an outstanding job escorting the parade. So, and a thank you to Fire Chief Gavin and OEM Director Chris Bardsley and Deputy Director Vincent Buffalino, not only for their leadership, but for being there with us, keeping everyone safe and everything running smooth. So great work all around, and thank you for helping us honor our heroes with pride and respect. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Public Works, Councilwoman Novak.
I don't want to belabor everything what Councilman Zabrowski said, with the Patriot flags. Fred does a great job with that. Remind everybody that he needs donations to continue to pay for these flags. They are extremely expensive. The last bill was over $900, but luckily enough, we had good weather almost to the end till it's finally rained on us a little bit when we were putting up the flags. But he really just loves, the country and the flags and getting the kids involved too, because we put flags up on both the Little League fences and the AA fences of all of the branches of the service. And we even have one for the space service. So that was really exciting for the kids to see that going up. Memorial Day Parade. It's a wonderful experience and all of the barbecues and everything else. But the most important part of that day for me and many of the service members is approximately 5:30 in the morning. The services start at different monuments in town at all of the cemeteries. And when they were doing their 21 gun salute at all of the cemeteries, I thought to myself, gee, I hope nobody's calling the police department to complain about gunfire. This is what the day is all about. And all of these people, and again, volunteers that do all of this stuff, to really honor the dead and to honor the families that lost it. We have a young man from Saraville who lost his life, and his wife and his 2 young children live here. People talk about it all the time, but they're living it. And it's something, it's more than hamburgers and hot dogs on Memorial Day. And I want to thank everybody for that. The senior party was a lot of fun. It always is. It always amazes me how much energy. They have more energy than me. And, I guess I'm in their group now, so I can't talk too much about that. I have a couple of questions about something else, but right now I would like to read, if I can get this back, because I'm computer illiterate. There is something great that's going to happen in this town. As the BA knows, I actually was trying to get rid of the Middlesex County recycling, because I honestly believe that 90% of the mess in this town is because of the recycling bins. It doesn't seem to matter if it's totally not windy, you put your recycling bucket out, it gets windy and it blows all over town. Nobody, the recycling people, if it's on the ground, oh, well, it stays there. Nobody picks it up. But then Glenn told me the good news, and then I got some particulars from Elise, Elise and I would always commiserate about getting rid of those stupid blue cans with no covers. Glenn told me, and that the county is going with an automatic company that is we're going to start having a big blue can for our recyclables, so they won't blow all around town. It's going to start in July, and August 1st. They'll be starting to deliver the new cans on August 1st, and I think it is really gonna. I know Elise also has all of those cleanups in town, and I'm hoping they go a lot better if our recycling isn't blown all over town. So I'm very excited about that. And I know you will be too. Just as when we went to the automated garbage, it really cleaned up the town too, because we didn't have rodents, knocking over the cans and everything. They are excellent at keeping the garbage in, and they will be excellent at keeping your recycling in. And I think you're all going to really appreciate it. Okay, something else. When I got the agenda on Thursday, and I saw this that you pulled, and I'm very happy that you pulled it. Rules of order are that nothing goes on to the business agenda unless it's been discussed and approved by the majority of the council. This ordinance showed up for first reading, and I'm just wondering, can somebody tell me how this got onto the agenda? Who authorized this to go onto the agenda in the first place?
I put it on the agenda.
By yourself, without going through the council?
Well, we can certainly discuss it since this is a joint agenda council meeting, if you like.
No, it's not supposed to be, the rules of order are, it's not supposed to be put on the business agenda until it's discussed and approved by the council, not by the mayor. Now, money was expended here. Who authorized the expenditure of money to write the resolution, the ordinance?
I did.
So you unilaterally authorized the you don't have the authority to do that.
Duly noted, Mary.
Okay, well, I'm really happy that it was pulled. It was one of the first things on my agenda. But in the future, we are the governing body. There's not just one person, whether it's the mayor or me, or, even Glenn, and he knows probably more than all of us put together. It requires us to do it. But I do appreciate that you saw the mistake and it was pulled. And Mayor, other than that, progress.
Okay. Water, Sewer, Environmental, Councilman Sinarski.
I just want to say also, I participated, and I want to thank all the volunteers and everybody involved, including the borough workers, for a great Memorial Day parade. And I think the weather was great and everybody had a great time. As far as the water and sewer, we made 175 million gallons in last month. There's standard progress at all of the pump stations. The weather's better, so the crews are all out doing all their necessary maintenance to keep everything running, so nobody has backups and problems at their homes. Last Friday, I also participated. I spent some time at the community garden, just cleaning up a little bit. There were some people there, so the gate was open, so I didn't have to do the combination to get in. But I stayed there for a while and helped clean up a little bit. And there's a lot of things growing, and all the plots are just about filled up, and we have progress there. Other than that, we're all good.
Thank you, Stash.
Ask Josh a question?
Yes.
Okay, well, no, Mayor, can I?
You want to ask a question?
Yes, Stash a question.
Yes.
About water. I noticed in the report that, and I don't know how many people actually saw the report, that as much as you think it rained a lot, it didn't. We're
still
not
have-
on
we still
mandatory
have it.
restrictions though, right?
We're not on a mandatory drought, but there is still a drought situation going on. I don't have the current levels of the wells in the fields and the aquifers at this point, but I will have it for the next meeting.
Is there any way we can kind of put it on our Facebook to just remind people that although it seems like a lot of water, we had a really dry winter. So people should,
It's
kind of
a good idea.
voluntarily
If we can do that on our Facebook, that would be a great idea.
Thank you.
Anything else, Stash?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Recreation Council President Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. It was kind of a quiet time, except for the parade. I was away for a while, so it was nice to get away. I'm in catch-up mode right now. I do want to say the parade is such a great honor to be part of, and the people that participate in it really are the best part of our town, and that is something I'm so proud of. The other thing that I'd like to share is the VFW did a great, great event. And I have the names. I just want to make sure I get Danny and Katie Vardalis are the two parents and veterans that had set this up, and they embody really what the future of our town needs to be. They ran a wonderful event. It was welcoming to everyone in the community, not only veterans, but we really do in all aspects of our town and community need to bring in people who we are making decisions for today. Things that we're doing here don't matter to us as much as they do to the people who are raising their children here now and are going to be the future. So this was an embodiment of that, and I can't wait to see more of what comes from this couple and the other participants and veterans that were part of this event. I am so honored to have been invited and to be a participant. I had nothing to do with it. I just have nothing but great things to say about this couple and the VFW and what they're doing now. So I'm just floored by their accomplishments and what they're going to do in the future. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. General discussion, administration, Glenn, if you want to, admin,
Authorization for the tax collector to refund taxes and cancel all subsequently billed taxes due to 100% disabled veteran tax exemption for the following: Block 447.07, Lot 15, in the amount of $5,542.87.
any objection? Next item.
Coin toss received for the corner of Washington and Ernston Road from Head Over Heels Parent Association on July 26th and 27th, and Knights of Columbus on October 11th and 12th.
Is the Head Over Heels a Cerebral organization? Okay. Any objection? Next item.
Application for membership as a firefighter received from Juan Alvarado, accepted by Melrose Hose Company Number 1 at their March 31st, 2025 meeting.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to advertise for the receipt of bids for electrical work and repairs as needed.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award contracts for the water department chemicals. Bids are being received on June 4th, so this way we would be able to award them at our next meeting.
Any objection? Anything else, Jessica?
No.
Okay. Business Administrator?
Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. CFO's report?
Thank you, Mayor. Progress.
Thank you. Borough Engineers report?
Thank you, Mayor. A few items this evening. 2023 road project has been completed, recommending a closeout and approval of a final change order with a net reduction. Need a resolution to do that. Next item, 34 Patton Drive. They had posted a landscaping bond prior to getting a CO. That work's been completed, recommending a resolution releasing that bond. Next item, the Jerry S. Recreational Complex. We received bids for that project. We're recommending award of a contract, but due to available funds, we've got to delete the multipurpose field. So the contract is going to be just the baseball, softball field and the parking lot improvements.
Thank you, Jay.
And then, Mayor, one more item. We're receiving bids for the next phase of your road improvement project next week. So if everything's in order, we'd like a resolution awarding a contract at your next meeting.
Thank
That's
you.
all. Thank you.
Borough Attorney?
Nothing this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, this time I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments. There is a 5-minute limit. Other questions? Arthur?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Arthur Rittenhouse, appearing as Chairman of the Cerebral Shade Tree Commission. Thank you, Mayor, for pulling back the ordinance. I'm the Chair of the Cerebral Shade Tree Commission. I come before you tonight because of an ordinance you were going to introduce at the first reading to do away with the Cerebral Shade Tree Commission, which was set up under New Jersey state law, and replace it with a Shade Tree Advisory Committee. First, this is being done illegally under your rules of order, which state an ordinance must be discussed at an agenda meeting, which was not done. Second, the liaison to the Shade Tree Commission was not informed, and the council person who was listed to introduce it knew nothing about it. The Shade Tree Commission is charged with exclusive responsibility of planting trees and shrubs on local, county, state, and federal land within the borough of Sayreville. It is also charged with overseeing the Sayreville Tree Bank, which is supported by developers contributing money to the tree bank to replace trees taken down by development. The Shade Tree Commission has tried to prevent the tree bank from being used as a piggy bank for pet projects that do not meet the criteria. The commission has contacted the mayor and the council and the BA about this problem and has been ignored, and money is being spent over the objection of the Shade Tree Commission. Some of the abuses include refusing to give the contact information for the Rutgers people working on the MacArthur and Weber Avenue projects, and spending money from the tree bank without consulting the Shade Tree Commission. The Shade Tree Commission has been blocked from getting to the mailroom and get its corresponding and accessing its storage closet, which is located in a bathroom on the first floor. Other boards and commissions have access to their materials. The commission has asked that the chair of the commission and the commission's confidential secretary have access to this, and the request was denied. Purchasing a $300,000 piece of equipment to be used to plant trees. The agreement also included the labeling of the equipment with purchased by Tree Bank money and authorized by the Shade Tree Commission, and having it in the Parks Department for efficiency. None of this was done. Not one tree has been planted by this machine for the last 2 years. The Board of Education needs many trees. When the commission asked the BA to allow the Parks Department to plant trees on Board of Education property, we were told they were not covered by insurance. Yet, the BA had the Parks Department plant trees on Kaplan property, Camelot on Main Street, because residents of Wisniewski complained about the building that they couldn't see. It wasn't pretty anymore looking out their backyards. When the commission asked how that was possible, the BA said they were covered by JIF. In addition, the trees were placed around the development, not just behind Wisniewski Drive. The Shade Tree Commission has accomplished many things for the borough residents. Some of these are maintain tree city status, inventory the trees and in the borough for reports that are required by the state of New Jersey, train the members of the Shade Tree Commission so that we have required number of trained commissioners as required by the state of New Jersey, participate in Climate Change Education Advisory Board, which is run with grants to the Saraville Board of Education in grades 7 and 8, and they have just been awarded to expand that to the 6th grade. This is one item with community involvement. We attended the Earth Day program at the Saraville Middle School, working with the Parks Department to do an inventory so we can replace and replenish trees in our parks. The seedling program, which distributes seedlings to our residents near Arbor Day each year. Each year, the Shade Tree Commission distributes 300 to 500 seedlings. Memorial tree planting. This is a continuation of a program started many years ago. If you look at the trees on the front and side of Borough Hall, you will see trees with plaques for residents who have been honored, including the late Councilwoman Drumford. A tree was planted for Christian Rivera near the Junior Barber Field. At Kennedy Park, we have many trees in memory of residents. In the back of Borough Hall, there are 2 rows of trees, if you look out the windows here, that were planted for our World War II veterans. The Shade Tree Commission is in charge of approving permits for residents to take down trees on the 10-foot right-of-way of their residents. The Shade Tree Commission is charged with reviewing plans from different boards, i.e. Planning, Zoning, and SERA, which they have failed to send us reports until just recently. The Saraville Shade Tree Commission are volunteers appointed by the mayor with the approval of the council. The commission meets 12 months in the year. The Shade Tree Commission has 2 contests during the year to get students involved in the environment. They are the poetry contest and the art contest. The content is open to Saraville students that are public, private, and homeschool students. In closing, the commission is dedicated to serving the environment in the borough of Saraville and protecting the money available to accomplish those goals. Please keep the Saraville Shade Commission as it is intended and not a political football. And also, I have not received any responses from anybody with emails that I sent. So it's not only Jim Robinson that doesn't get it. Only Mary and Dan are the only ones who respond. I guess the other people don't know how to use their email.
Are there any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I just have thank you for the Shade Tree Commission. Thank you for everything that you do. The other thing I
Could
have
you
to,
identify yourself again, dear?
Jennifer Stricka in 25 Sherwood Road,
Thank you.
Parlin. And the other thing I have to say is there anything that can be done about, I know this is going to seem stupid being that everything we're talking about tonight, but I spent 4 minutes at that light going from Main Street Extension to make a left towards the police station. It changed like maybe 6 months ago. Now you have to wait 4 minutes. That traffic is, it's okay at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm the only one sitting there, but sometimes you do it at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And now we're 12 or 14 cars back to do the left turn only signal. Are we responsible for the timing of that light or does somebody else?
Are you coming from here to the police station?
Coming from Main Street Extension, making a left, there's a left turn only signal. It's 4 minutes long now.
I got stuck coming there tonight.
It's
It was
just
like 4 or
ridiculous. I
5
don't know what
lights.
happened to it,
Yeah.
but if there's something that can be done about that.
We'll take a look at it.
30 seconds, no more kidding. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Yes.
Hi, good evening, Major and council members. My name is Alberto Rios, and I'm a Servant resident. Before I go into it, I'd like to take a minute to thank each and every one of you, the borough, the police officers and volunteers for organizing and being a part of the parade yesterday. It was a beautiful day, and it was a proud day to honor our heroes and remember the true meaning of this holiday. So it was really a beautiful parade, and thank you, everybody. I rise tonight to strongly oppose Ordinance 1725, which proposes dissolving our Shade Tree Commission and replacing it with an advisory committee. Let me be clear, I fully support the preservation and care of our borough's trees. Trees are vital to our community, environmentally, aesthetically, and economically. However, this ordinance is not a step forward, it's a step back. Before we consider dismantling the commission, let's recognize who we're talking about. Members of the Shade Tree Commission are dedicated, educated volunteers. They attend conferences, pursue certifications, and stay informed about best practices in community forestry. They care deeply about this town and have done a tremendous job protecting and enhancing our green spaces. Some of these same individuals are also active in the Historical Society, the very group that fought to preserve the firehouse and honor Sayreville's rich history. These are not just volunteers, they are stewards of our community. And yet, this ordinance will strip them of their authority and replace them with an advisory body that meets less often and operates largely out of the public eye. One of my most serious concerns is the reduction in transparency that this ordinance would bring. Currently, the Shade Tree Commission is a public body governed by the Open Public Meetings Act, commonly known as the Sunshine Law. This means residents have the right to attend meetings, receive notice, and participate in the public process. That right would disappear under this ordinance. The proposed advisory committee would only meet quarterly. That's just 4 times a year. And those meetings would not be required to be public. In fact, the ordinance explicitly states that the committee is not subject to the Open Public Meetings Act. This means decisions that affect our town's environment, the planting, care, and removal of trees can happen without public notice, without transparency, and without accountability. And that's just unacceptable. Furthermore, a quarterly meeting schedule is inadequate. Trees are living resources that require consistent, ongoing attention. Many towns with active forestry programs meet monthly, sometimes more often during peak planting seasons. By reducing the meeting frequency, we risk delays, inefficiencies, and a lack of responsiveness. This ordinance does not strengthen our shade tree protections. It weakens them. It disbands a commission with defined authority under state law and replaces it with an advisory group that has no decision-making power, limited oversight, and a diminished public engagement. I ask this council, why are we making it harder for the public to be involved? Why reduce meeting frequency? Why shield the committee from the Sunshine Law? If we truly care about our environment, if we truly care about public participation, and if we truly believe in open government, then this ordinance should be rejected. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Tom?
Name is Tom Fritzen, 143 Main Street, Sayreville. Proud to say my name. First of all, I've got a couple. First of all, the parade was great, runs right past my house. I was happy to sit on my porch and watch it go by. It was awesome. I also liked the leading 5 or 4 stealth police cars that were told to me that were the traffic ones. So I'm great. They were riding down Main Street. I would like to see them once or twice parked on Main Street so people don't drive fast past my house. So I also want to thank Stosh for getting back to me and talking about stuff on Main Street, and also the committee for the Main Street. Zach got in touch with me, and I'm going to be coming here on Thursday to see the presentation and see what you guys have in mind for the Main Street beautification, I guess, what we're talking about. I have 3 things, though, I would need to talk about. Oh, no, 2 things I need to talk about. One, I'm concerned, we were talking about the budget before and all that stuff. I noticed, since I live a block away from this park, that on some nights when it's really, really raining hard and I look out my window, the lights are on for the baseball field. Or I remember driving past the baseball field, like when it was getting close to winter and it was snowing, the lights were on. I don't understand why those lights come on when there's nothing going on. Obviously, if there's a game going on, I got no problem with them, but it seems like there's a lot of waste with those lights because they seem to be on constantly when they shouldn't be on. I know I'm probably, if I remember from my days when I worked the recreation department a long time ago, we had the lights on a timer. So you turn the timer on and you go home. But if it rains while the timer is going off, your lights are going to go on all night. So I don't know if there's anything that can be done to have those lights on and off at present times when they're supposed to be needed. Second thing also too, I got a message on my garbage can because there's always seems to be a problem on Main Street with garbage cans, because if you don't put your garbage can in the street, they won't take it. I had my garbage can, I forgot, because usually I do put it on the street, because I know if I don't put it on the street, somebody's going to park right in front of my garbage can and it won't get collected. But I had it on the curb. There was plenty of room, but then I got a note slapped on it saying they didn't pick it up because it wasn't in the proper location. I didn't know there was a proper location for the garbage cans. I know Main Street's tough because everybody parks up and down Main Street, especially on my side, and there's really no place to put the garbage cans unless you throw them in the street before the people park there. I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that, or if we can maybe, I don't know. I don't want to get into like sides of the street parking like in New York City, like nobody can park on Wednesdays on Main Street until about 10 o'clock when the garbage is collected and then they get parked there and stuff. But just some things that I've noticed in town that annoy me a little. So, so there you go. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom.
Excuse me, Mayor, can I address Tom for a second?
Sure.
Tom, 1 second. Yesterday, after I walked back up Main Street, I met with some Saraville Main Street residents, and they did see an improvement. I like your idea with putting the lines on the road. We're going to go further with that and see what happens with that. But we're trying to make some progress for everybody that has a business or residents that live on Main Street here. And
Thank
to
you.
speed more police presence.
Yeah, and I know I talked to the sergeant Memorial Day, and he mentioned that you're trying to lower the speed limit to 25 on Main Street also.
Yes, yeah, we talked about that,
Yeah, they're
yes.
doing some kind of traffic study and all that stuff from the Middlesex County, I guess, because it's a county road. I got no problem if you're going to lower the speed limit. The only problem is it has to be enforced.
You got to obey it.
They
All
gotta
right,
obey.
thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Heather?
Heather Yanoni, Posky, 71 Zaleski. So when I was made aware of this ordinance, which I am thankful has been pulled, I was a little concerned. I know that our chair, our Rittenhouse, has made multiple attempts to try to foster communication, which seems there definitely has been a bit of a breakdown with between the Shade Tree Commission and the borough, mayor and council. Oftentimes, money is taken out of the tree bank fund, and I realize that for certain things, yes, not approval needs to be needed for everything, but things are being decided without Shade Tree being a part of it. And we have voiced those concerns, which makes me feel like this is a very targeted thing. The fact that this has even made it to an ordinance without the proper channel being pursued is a little discerning. So I would hope that as you go and review this potential ordinance going forward, that one, it goes through the appropriate channels to do so. Two, I hope that in the future, if Shade Tree Commission should still be around, that we could work on fostering that communication to better serve the people of Sayreville. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Jim Robinson from Parlin. First, I want to congratulate the officers who are the recipients of the 200 Club Award. Tonight, because the elevator is out here, folks can go to the Mickey Sedlak Civic Center and watch the meeting on Zoom. Can they actually participate in the meeting? They can. Is the absurdity of that lost on everybody else? You can drive a block away, go up that long ramp and sit there and participate in the meeting on Zoom. But my friend Carol, who came here from Laurel Park to talk about the Shade Tree Commission, she and others can't participate by Zoom from home. That's crazy. That is just crazy. And Mayor, you've said a few times that you've asked your liaison to the veterans how they feel about Zoom meeting participation, and nobody has any problem. Well, at the wonderful celebration yesterday, I asked 3 veterans, and today when I came here, I got to ask a 4th. How do you feel about Zoom participation and not being able to participate? Every one of those 4 people thought it was wrong. And one of them said to me, "Are you kidding me? I am 78 years old. I don't want to be going to a council meeting to speak. I have an interest in what's going on, but I don't want to have to go to the Borough Hall." So that you can do Zoom. You proved it tonight. It's at the Civic Center. We just can't do it at home. The recycling containers, I guess, are a benefit for a lot of folks unless you live in a townhouse community and there is no room for those things. So I hope that that can be worked out, because that does impact 2 or 3 of the communities in town. I was going to talk about the Shade Tree Commission, the elimination of it, and I'm not going to thank you for pulling it. Never should have been there. Never should have been there. That's what I want to talk about. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time, Mayor, where you have exceeded your legal authority. You are a weak mayor in a borough form of government. It is the council that governs, not the mayor. And you might think it's not a big deal because of the Shade Tree Commission ordinance. The reason we are building thousands of market rate apartments in this town is because this mayor unilaterally, without council approval, approved that. And the council ended up suing as a result of that, and the judge reversed some of those things. You took authority that is not yours, Mayor. You did the same thing on January 1st. It's the reason we have 2 borough engineers. You appointed a politically connected person who was spared jail by a pardon, a presidential pardon, somebody nobody ever heard of, and there was no discussion. The council didn't talk about it. I was here January 1st. You appointed Morgan Engineering. People said, "Oh, a good local firm from Morgan." People looked at one another and said, "What did he do? What did he do?" Council members weren't sure because you exceeded your authority. That wasn't discussed. It has to be discussed, Mayor. You can't do that. And you can't authorize the attorney, even though I'm good friends with his firm, you can't authorize them to drop an ordinance. And they better not be paid for that, because that would be illegal. You can't do that, Mayor. That's not your authority. You have to learn your place. You're not an Ayatollah. You're not a king. You are the mayor in a borough form of government. And I know you go down to Atlantic City. You don't go to any of those classes, but if you did, you would know the limited powers of a mayor in a borough form of government. Maybe the attorney can explain that to you. I want to ask the status of the cable TV franchise, the right-of-way ordinance. Did we approve that?
No.
We didn't. That was 8 years late. And then a year ago, we brought it up. Somebody asked the question about what does a local office mean? Everybody looked at one another. Nobody knew what a local office meant. We tabled it. In the meantime, the local office moved out of town, and we still haven't reintroduced it. This is government at its best? No. Can't even do something simple like that. My time is up. Thank you, Mayor and council members.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Anonymous. Sorry about that. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council. Proud to not give my name. Proud to exercise my rights under the United States Constitution, New Jersey State Constitution, the OPMA. Proud to keep myself and my family safe by not giving my address and my private sensitive information. It's one step away from asking me for my debit card name. You seem to forget that you work for the people. When you started to cut me off during my first testimony, I had to neutralize the situation by banging a gavel. And it made you so upset because the mere idea of having a level playing field with the public makes you act like a child. And then you have outbursts. And then as I referred to the law, you say, oh, he's not making any sense. And then as I say, you should have seen the lawyer's face, the lawyer winds up saying, you're putting words in my mouth. You know more than ever that words
You'll
mean...
direct
No,
your questions
through the chair,
to me.
Through the chair to the lawyer. Through the
No,
chair
you
to
can
the
just
lawyer.
direct your questions to me.
This is what I'm talking about.
It doesn't matter.
You're cutting me off. Stop.
No.
Your inability to let
No,
me-
listen, what you don't
I do
understand
not
is
need your
you
permission.
don't run the
Please
meeting,
stop.
I do.
You are out of order. I'm not running the meeting. You don't have control over my life.
Keep
You
going.
can't control my public testimony.
You got about 3 minutes.
Why do you keep cutting me off? You're doing it again.
Because you're out of order.
No, because you don't know the law. You don't know the law. This is the time that you keep your mouth shut and members of the public
You always
speak.
just rude. I
You
always
have every
just
opportunity
ill-bred,
to
rude
listen,
and
listen.
ill-bred.
You need to stop absorbing every little thing like things are personal. Why do they feel so personal? Is it because you do everything behind closed doors? You know, thank God Councilwoman Novak called you out. Everybody else was just sitting here and nobody else was going to say a thing. You know, before when I got Councilman Mike, I don't want to say her last name wrong. Before when I thought you gave an explicit smile, when I thanked Balka for always remaining professional and never saying anything and cutting me off, I thought you gave this, you're doing it the whole time. Somebody gave you bad political advice. That is when you're up on a council, just smile. Smile the whole time. Councilwoman Novak is calling out the mayor for doing illegal activity, and you're smiling. You're still smiling. Whoever gave you that advice,
All questions are directed
whoever gave
to me.
advice like that, they're probably not even an elected official anymore. That's bad advice. It's robotic. You don't have to care. You don't have to like it. I'm just giving you criticism. Something that is so difficult for people to swallow. God forbid members of the public. You tried to, and I want to give a shout out to Chief Dan. Great, great, great chief. Went from one of the worsts in the state, one of the firsts in the state. I don't appreciate it when mayors get involved in groups and use their status as the chief of police to villainize cannabis and get paid on the back end. I don't support that kind of stuff. So shout out to Chief Dan, great guy. When I ran into him, he was nothing but respectful, nothing but kind. And shout out to the police who know they can't remove us for remaining anonymous. And you want to know how you found that out? Through your lawyer. That's why I referred to the lawyer who had made a face when I spoke, because he's the one who, and it's not, you feel forced. You feel like you're being forced to do these things. This is the law. We have laws in place. You cannot overextend authority you do not have. This is how it works, and you have to deal with it. When people call you out for see what you're doing now? This is what I like. Just absorb it. Don't deflect and fight back and cut me off. I mean, Jesus. I've been going to council meetings for a long time, for many, many years, and I stopped giving my name and address because there was a moment of silence that a speaker was asking to have, and the lawyer cut her off. And she said, I just would like to have a moment of silence. 2 of her friends had died, and the lawyer cut her off a second time. Some chump, Matthew Giacombe, Madison, Summit, complete chump. From that day on, I decided if you people can't offer the respect in return, it's not about disrespect. I'm just highlighting the fact that that someone like you, Mayor O'Brien, can't handle when you have to respect the rights and the law. That's where things come into play with you, and it's a very touchy thing with you when you have to follow the law.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Am I recognized? Am I recognized?
Beg your pardon?
Am I recognized?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So if you took your classes in Atlantic City, you can know I can talk to any one of these council members, including the attorney, as long as I say through the chair.
No,
To the
you
attorney.
can address everything
It's
to
in
me.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Would you do me a favor and give a cameo to the camera there so
It's
that
in
the
Robert's
people at
Rules of
home
Order. If you would have took your
can
classes
see
in
you?
Atlantic City
I
rather
thi-
than
I think-
banging
I think it's
prostitutes,
outstanding.
maybe you would have learned something.
Go ahead.
Okay? Thank
Alright.
you. Please don't speak, don't try
Well,
to
you
speak
kind of
over
make
me.
a mockery of
You're violating
Sayreville.
the decorum of this
I'm not
meeting by
violating
speaking
anything.
over the speakers.
You go, please proceed. Your
Thank
clock
you.
is ticking, son.
Thank you. So the Middlesex County Republican Organization, the Middlesex County Democratic Organization are a country club of radical
take a
racists and sex predators, which you happen to be a part of. All of you happen to be a part of it. In regards to the councilwoman who got killed, I find it perplexed listening to the trial, and here you have all these witnesses that witnessed something, but they did not witness that actual guy. It's nighttime, black male with dreads, did not witness that actual person. So it leads me to believe they didn't find a murder weapon, they just found a weapon, you know? Almost everyone has a gun down south. So they found somebody down south with a gun, which everyone has a gun, but it wasn't the murder weapon. Nobody witnessed this particular person at the scene. It's possible his phone was in the same geographical location. How is the guy in jail? How are you guys violating his rights, violating his due process rights? He should be out of the jail, fighting his trial. Absolutely disgusting. And Michael, through the chair to Councilman Kalachi. Councilman Kalachi, are you a police officer?
You can address it to the chair.
Are you a police officer?
You can address
You
it
look
to the
like-
chair.
Well, you look like a police officer. So I heard you talking about the sex predator type of task force. Are you aware before you created the sex predator task force that back in 2021, I came out here with a guy named Rami. We caught several child predators, live streamed it on YouTube at the Circle Motel, was it? You can ask the police about it, went viral. Volunteers did that without getting paid. So it makes me wonder, how long ago did this program start?
Address your questions
Through
to
the
me.
chair,
No,
Councilman
just
Kalachi,
to
it's in
me.
Robert's Rules of
I don't
Order.
have
How long ago did that?
Hey, buddy, anonymous, if you're gonna disrupt the meeting, I'll call it,
Sir,
to an
sir,
end.
you can't disrupt.
You have to be
Sir, I
respectful.
cannot be disrupting the meeting. If it's my time to speak, you gotta be a goofball for that type of interpretation or
You have
perception.
2 minutes.
Are you freaking kidding me?
You have 2 minutes.
I guess common sense went out the window with you, completely went out the window with you. Are you freaking kidding me? When it's my time to speak, that means it's time for you to shut
minutes.
your mouth. It's
You have 2
quite
minutes.
simple.
Wait.
It's quite simple. I'm sorry I had to remind you.
You guys
So,
are really searching
um,
for a bit of a lawsuit.
Nobody's searching for any
So how do you
lawsuit.
make your money?
How do I make my money? By recording goofy ass politicians like you, corrupt politicians like you,
yes.
that have zero respect for members
And
of
then
the
you
public.
take the money from the taxpayers of Saraville. It's what this is all about.
You don't have to like it, but you can kiss my ass. Anyone out in the back telling me I'm wasting time, you can kiss my ass too. Mayor, stop breaking the law. I'm wearing this mask because I think the shooter's still out there, and when I leave here after I called out the real killers, I don't want you to send your mafia hitman to come after me.
1 minute.
Okay. Your mafia hitman to come after me and shoot me, as he possibly did to the councilwoman, the first black councilwoman. I find it suspicious that she was against the police department, that the police department wanted to remove her as the police liaison. I find it suspicious that the Middlesex County prosecutors tried to sue everyone that tried to get those emails, and then they had to pull back.
Thank you.
What were they afraid of?
Thank you. Are there anyone else? Frank?
Yeah, Frank Chimzino, 32 Canal Street. Just want to say, Tom, do you put your cans on the sidewalk or at the curb? On the wheels to the curb?
Off the curb,
Yeah.
on the street.
And sometimes there's cars there, they can't get in, because I had you route. It's very difficult over there.
I usually left them on the curb.
Okay, if they're on the sidewalk, we're not picking them up. We can't reach. Okay, sorry. I noticed how you had apartments, we were picking up garbage in apartments. Do you know what apartments that may be? That may be.
Frank, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
What apartments do we use that you're gonna be picking up cans at in the future? Because we don't normally do apartments.
Mary, do you know?
We don't usually pick up garbage from the apartments.
Right.
But Middlesex County does pick up recycling from some.
Okay, you're talking,
You know the Park Village that you picked up.
okay,
We actually have blue cans.
so it's not us, it's outside.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Thank you. And, okay,
Let's say it cost us, a homeowner, a certain amount of money.
Mm.
So regardless of what they're paying, we reimburse them for what it would cost the normal homeowner.
right, all right. Thanks, Mayor. These guys are on my executive board. And when we have meetings, they're always talking about Shade Tree, about what we can do for the kids and all that. And I have to tell them to cut it out and get back to me. They're very loyal and dedicated. So I also oppose getting rid of these nice people. I support them, and I'm glad it was pulled tonight because, you know, you're getting a bang for free. These guys are great. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Anyone else? Being no one else, I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion.
Make a motion to close the public.
Second.
Roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, before I call for adjournment, there are groups of individuals who go around to council meetings throughout the state. And what they do, they try to behave in an offensive manner. And then what they try to do is they'll file a kind of a frivolous lawsuit in hopes that the joint insurance fund of the borough will say, settle it out for $5,000 or $10,000 because it would cost us $50,000 to go to court. So there's a couple of duos that go around, and that's how they make their living. They do. That's just what they do. What I don't allow is when it becomes insulting and demeaning, because that is really an insult to the people of Saraville, and that I try not to allow. Short of getting them by the scruff of the neck, when you have someone who's of that nature, you're just better off bearing through their 5 minutes and then they leave, wear them out. So that kind of explains what's going on, the silliness, the anonymity. One of the things, if you notice, we've put plexiglass partitions in a lot of the hallways because these people would come, it seems everybody with an Apple iPhone is now a journalist. And they'd come into the offices and they just hover on your desk and claim First Amendment rights. And under the advice of counsel, we just put up locked plexiglass partitions, and we put up counters where they can come, but they cannot come into the offices. Because the other thing is, we're now living in a dangerous world. We haven't, and nor have I heard of anything in New Jersey where someone has brought a weapon to a council meeting, but that some asshole, and I use that term as the best descriptive phrase I can have, will probably do that, and we'll end up going through metal detectors, just like the schools now. When you go see a kids play at the high school, you go through a metal detector. You go to a football game, you go through a metal detector. We haven't had to do that here yet, but it's probably coming. So I take offense because I find people like this offend and the people of Saraville, and I just don't want to allow that. That being said, I'll take a motion for adjournment. Yes.
The first time I met these people, they came to a council meeting. It was just a few months after Eunice's death. And this gentleman here literally accused John Zabrowski of having somehow benefited from Eunice's death. And I wasn't muttering underneath my breath then. I said it very loudly. And I was trying to say it very loudly again when they made the reference that somebody in the police department might have had something to do with Eunice's death. I think everybody should just sit back and let the legal system work. I can assure you, with every part of my being, that nobody in this town, in this police department had anything to do with it. And I didn't realize that my mic wasn't on, he would have heard what I had to say. And then I find it offensive that he wants us all to hear what he has to say. He put that mask on. I couldn't understand anything he said.
He's going for a lawsuit.
In what we hear. I bet you when the girls listen to the women listen to the tapes, they're not gonna understand. But there's one other thing, Mayor, I have to ask, because it really wasn't asked or addressed. Is this gonna show up on the agenda again before we have the opportunity?
What would you like? Are you the liaison to
Yes, I
Shade Tree?
am.
Okay, so let's have an agenda. Let's put it on an agenda.
The agenda for the next meeting to discuss.
Sure.
Thank you. I
Okay,
appreciate it. I just didn't want it to show up back on the
Okay.
business meeting without.
Okay.
Thank you.
Donna, did you have anything?
No, Mayor, I don't. It's just been, I think we're losing sight over that we're working for the people of this town, and I can't choose my words properly right now.
With
Thank you.
your mother raised a very polite daughter. Okay, that being said, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, everyone.